Interview 0:00/010. The simplicity of blocking seems to have been made clear by Remy Ma's recent outbursts against the connection between Clarissa and Papa. While ES isn't attempting to hide his boredom with her, Remy has been putting on a brave front to avoid coming across as a hot mess. According to the next side piece, he is already cheating on her after moving out. The skipper packs his things before he moves on to the next bird. This was probably not what Remy Ma had anticipated, especially after she put Pap on the defensive and made her relationship with ES public. Remy has been in the game long enough to know that males there don't act like that, but she and Papoose had the hip-hop romance that everyone was cheering for. Indeed, during her 6 arduous years in prison, he kept her in check. Remy even acknowledged that they spoke on the phone every day to keep in touch, and that Pap was always delighted to come see her whenever he could. Interview 120/136. He had decided to marry her while she was incarcerated, so when she came out, it felt like they were destined to be together forever. They discussed the ease with which they were able to unite their families and form a lovely, loving relationship. In addition, they had a lovely daughter. Interview 152/229. Remy and P used to make a point of showing everyone that they were still together, but beginning in 2023, people started to realize that their relationship wasn't exactly working out. Next, Remy spun around and bet everything on a Timu-style papoose. The fact that P's statement about family made no mention of Remy was what really set folks searching for answers. Unbeknownst to everybody, chaos and drama were simmering beneath the surface. Remy didn't share anything on social media to celebrate Papoose on Father's Day, not even a quick message or a Twitter or Instagram photo caption. As everyone is aware, Remy was discovered to have cheated, and Pap wasn't acting in such a way toward her. It was made even more disrespectful by the fact that Remy had cheated with a battle rapper who was easy to block and was in Pap's social circles. Her decision to turn back and play games with Remy about it was therefore quite audacious. Although she refuted the rumors and even went to celebrate with Pap at his 46th birthday celebration, their body language during the whole incident seemed to indicate that they were no longer together. Pap's morals have never been compromised for financial gain. He didn't sell out for music, so why would he use his wife and their relationship as a publicity ploy for the new Battle League business she was starting with EAs? No longer does it make sense. Although Papoose is far from ideal, even a blind man can see that he wasn't kidding. Online, the captain's and Remy's altercation became so well known that other battle rappers started making fun of her for her treatment of Papoose. Interview 152/229. There is no woman in my. His wife confronting you is minor compared to what he could have done, and you're still in danger. At least be with a who can defend you if you cheat. You know this isn't right. You know this isn't right. Come on, everyone knows this isn't right. Claps, just admit it. Remy, you're up here supporting the victim. P attended all 6 of my Chrome events. Why isn't he here for this one? Interview 429/512. Remy persisted in defending herself, saying she hadn't cheated on anyone, before any of us discovered that something was wrong with the marriage. However, Easy the Block, her own man, came out and acknowledged that he had been her sidekick for 2 years running. The controversy was only heightened when he claimed that Papoose knew about their connection months before he confronted him in Hala. Pap even used a recording device to bug Remy's automobile in order to learn the truth about their relationship. Interview 542/626. Papoose never truly faced ES, despite the fact that he still battled rap and frequented his bars with little jabs. Interview 634/719. Remy Ma, on the other hand, was striving to portray Papoose as a violent, unpleasant husband and a cheater, saying that she was tired and wanted to end their relationship. In order to reveal Pap's relationship with the boxer, she was able to acquire screenshots of his phone talks with Clarissa. Remy should have been guarding her back with ES rather than concentrating on what Pap and Clarissa were doing and attempting to dismantle their connection, which was still going strong. He quickly became weary of her and began in search of another partner, and this was about a covert meeting rather than just leaked communications. It's going to get even stranger, I'll tell you what. This isn't just a minor disagreement. It was a clash that rocked the business and had everyone talking. So you guys aren't ready for what comes next in part 2, where we're breaking down the complete eruption. Stay tuned for the next shocking revelation. You'll comprehend the intensity of Mess's feelings when he finally encounters Kirk. Person, This was a war, not a friendly discussion. To put it mildly, Kirk wasn't ready for the smoking picture, and Mrs. arrived ready for answers. This private club has low lighting and a level of tension that could be sliced with a knife. Before Mrs. came in, appearing to be about to throw hands, Kirk was sitting there trying to pretend he didn't care. There were only 2 men, no security or cameras, and the truth that was going to be exposed didn't waste any time. Saying, "I would rather not hear any more lies about what's really happening with you and my wife," he went over to Kirk and took a seat across from him. Kirk attempted to shrug it off, but his eyes were fixed on some text messages, and his voice was tremulous. "No, I'm referring to that VIP room. I am referring to the lies. You're sitting here acting like I'm going to take a shot," he remarked, "and wasn't buying it when you told me that you didn't meet Yandy at that motel." At that moment, Kirk committed the most significant error of his life. You can tell immediately if you're innocent, but Kirk sat there as if he was trying to think of a lie on the spot. Knowing he had been caught, foolish Kirk gasped, but he attempted to change the course of events. "It's over for you if you cross that line with my wife. I vow to God." Listen up, Kirk isn't designed to handle that type of stress. Just as it looked like things were about to turn physical, this dude started stumbling over his sentences and was sweating like he was on trial. Guests have entered the room, Yandy, y'all. Mrs. lost it, and you all knew it when he banged his fist on the table with such force that the room fell silent. Her first words were, "Oh, this is what we're doing. Your boy here doesn't say anything, so you tell me, Yandy." Kirk sprang to his feet, attempting to pretend that the entire situation was a simple miscommunication. Examine. She walked in as if she had just heard every word, staring at them both as though she were about to burn the place down. I mean, you had the moment just right. After telling him that nothing was going on, Yandy did something that nobody had expected. She went up to Kirk, met his eyes, and burst out laughing. But it was a mad laugh, not a nervous one. Yandy turned to face him, tossed her hair, and said, "Let me handle this." Mrs. was only waiting for a response. With her arms folded, she turned back to Kirk and said, "Tell me." When Kirk discovered he had lost months, he was waiting for answers while Yandy was looking at him and threatening to keep lying. After only sitting there and glancing at Ems, Kirk did the most shady thing of all. He left. Mrs. and Yandy stood there trying to understand what the devil had occurred because, let's be honest, why would you leave if you were innocent? Yandy said that Kirk had attempted to breach the boundary before, so this was when the actual tea started to leak. Kirk has always been regarded by the industry as a crafty, quietly untidy guy, but what Yandy said next, oh, that altered everything. According to her, Kirk had been pushing the envelope for years, from innocuous late-night calls to unintentional compliments. Waterways, seeing the extent of his potential, and worst of all, Yandy would act naive and pretend to be a wonderful friend each time she shut it down. But she recognized he wasn't playing anymore when he invited her to that VIP suite, and Em was simply standing there furious since this was a calculated betrayal. For years, Kirk had been working behind the scenes, assuming no one would notice, but guess what? He mishandled the wrong ones. Em will ensure that Kirk never forgets what occurs when you play these kinds of games now that he knows the entire tale. The last fight is coming up in part 3, and I can guarantee you won't be ready for how it ends. Keep an eye out because the entire business will be shocked by what happens next. Emsiz was no longer playing. This was more than a few texts, some questionable discussions, or even a private jet. After Yandy disclosed that Kirk had been pushing boundaries and playing the innocent hard in an effort to test her commitment, respect and Kirk had utterly lost it. You should be scared when a man like me stops talking because the next thing you know, Kirk gets a text from Mendy, not just any text, but a warning in which he meets me one-on-one without offering any justifications, and Kirk understood what this meant about settling this once and for all. But let me tell you, Kirk made every effort to prevent this. He was out there pretending that if he ignored it, it would simply go away because he was not returning calls or messages. However, what do you think? Mrs. unexpectedly pulled up on Kirk because he wasn't going to let it go. Imagine Kirk lounging in one of his favorite lounge areas, laughing hysterically, and believing he was safe. Then months passed. When Mies walked in, the entire place became silent, and it wasn't just any entrance. He came in as if he had a purpose. Kirk's entire expression shifted from one of laughter and relaxation to one of having just witnessed a ghost. Without hesitation, Mies went up to him and said, "We need to talk." Kirk attempted to maintain his composure. but Mrs. grabbed his shoulder and pulled him in close before he could say anything more. Trying to hide it, Kirk looked around as though someone was coming to his aid and laughed uncomfortably, but he was dead serious. Then he said something that nearly stopped Kirk. "You'll regret it if you don't take advantage of this one chance to put things right." Kirk was trembling by now, realizing that I wasn't only talking. Only a quarrel, but this was about something more important: loyalty, respect, and the fact that he had been sly behind a man's back for years. Kirk looked about when it was time to pay up, probably thinking he could just dip and get away with it. But he wasn't letting him get away with it that easily. This man had been pretending he wasn't guilty for years, and Kirk's eyes grew wide till he nearly choked on his own breath. Was not involved in any questionable activities, and now Mrs. was pushing him to come clean, take responsibility for everything, and basically go out there and say to the world, "Yeah, I was sneaky, yeah, I disrespected my brother Mrs., and yeah, I tried to cross the line with his wife." Kirk's face went white. Mrs. wasn't going to let Kirk get away with it, but he wasn't anticipating this, thinking that perhaps he could just offer a few weak excuses and be done with it. Kirk attempted to protest, saying, "Man, I don't owe you." Kirk understood that this was a warning and that he would not like the outcome if he did not listen well. It was no longer a no let's talk it out issue. Kirk had no option but to confront him directly as M.D. grabbed his shirt collar and drew him in before he could blink. He then stated, "You either make it right or I do y'all," in the most serene and terrifying voice imaginable. Came next, so let's discuss what transpired. Kirk had to choose between accepting responsibility for his duplicitous actions and putting things right or continuing to act foolishly and jeopardizing everything. Moreover, you know what? He was right to do it. Kirk posted on social media the very next day, and his actions stunned everyone because, well, I made a mistake. Yes, Kirk told Andy, me, and the world about it. He declared, "I disrespected a friendship that I should have valued. I made mistakes, and I owe DC and Yandy an apology." Let's face it, no one really imagined Kirk would genuinely acknowledge this, which is why the internet went berserk. To be honest, he had no choice but to do it because, trust me, if Kirk hadn't acknowledged it, Mrs. was ready to handle things his way, and Kirk knew that wouldn't end. After all of the drama, anxiety, and secrets, Kirk was forced to face the world with that L. What do you suppose? He smirked as he saw it all come to a conclusion because he ultimately received the respect, the truth, and the last say that he had sought. Well, let's just say that Kirk will never again do any of that crafty business because he discovered the hard way that some individuals don't give second chances. Was this merely damage control, or do you think Kirk actually learned his lesson? Kindly share your thoughts in the comments section below. Please hit the notification bell, like, and subscribe if you like to get the inside scoop on your favorite celebrities. This will ensure that you never miss anything. We're getting wilder, so stay locked in, drop. You will hear stories,